Beer bottle, man. Yeah. Miss Pansy Watson, who went to school here in Clarksonville and turned out to being a teacher in Clarksonville, from Abuka to Clarksonville, and she has a lot of stories about all the students that she's taught and now are all over the world, in between the US and Canada and England, and would like to probably tell a story of some of her students.
Oh, I cannot remember a story about all of them, but look at this one, Mackie, sitting right here in front of me. I am so happy to see him. And yesterday at Sharon's funeral, although it was such a sad occasion, there were so many of them that I met. I met Moy's relatives, and those are my cousins. I didn't even know that they were around, but there were so many of them. And there were what's the name of that kid who I spoke to? McDonald, the McDonald kid.
Oh, okay.
I saw him yesterday. We spoke. They were so happy to see me. You know who was most outstanding? Dukey. What was his name again? Duke Moore?
Duke Moore.
Duke Moore.
Ewan Moore.
Ewan Moore.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this kid in 60 odd years, yet he recognized me. And I was so happy. And we exchanged numbers, and he promised that we will be in touch for long after. And there were so many others. There was this one from Cedar Valley. What's his name? A little short. A Clark, I think he is. I think he's a Clark. I'm not quite sure.
Not forgetting Cherry.
And Cherry, she's a baby one. She's a baby one. And when I opened up my tribute to Sharon yesterday with a poem that I had taught them a long time ago. You know, the clock of life is wound but once, and no man has the power to tell when the hand will stop. And when I did it, I asked if there were any students who remembered my teaching them that, and several of them raised their hand and remembered that poem.
Yeah, including me.
Yeah. And
me too.
Yeah. I'm Pansy's brother, Moses. We're all children of Daisy Walker Black, and she's no long gone. But we have 8 siblings between us, and we're now at the home of another one of our siblings, Marion, who lives in the hillside here between the Church Gate and Clarksonville, and we're here visiting from Toronto.
And then there was I can't remember her really. We could call her Princess. I taught Princess at school. She gave me the joke yesterday how one day she came to the classroom and said, "Auntie Pansy," and I said, "Remember, at school, it's Miss Watson. Auntie Pansy's at home." And then as I thought of it, I remember the same thing about my brothers and sisters. And they had to say Miss Watson at school.
That's
and
right.
Sister Pansy at home.
And you used to beat them too if there's anything wrong.
Oh my goodness. I apologize to some of them because I said I used to beat hard. So I apologized because I said I didn't want to be known as a teacher who beat. But it was the disciplinary factor of the day. Yes. And what else can I tell you? Oh, from Clarksonville, I went to teach at Charlton Primary. And 2 weeks ago in Florida, I went to a gathering for a relative, celebration of a relative. And this young lady came up to me and said, "I bet you don't remember me." I said, "Well, how could I remember you? How long ago it was that?" And she said, "Charlton Primary." And she gave such a glowing report of the good teacher I was. I still feel my head to see if it's the same size. And then she showed me how I used to walk and how I used to talk and how I was a role model for them. Thank God for that. And then come to find out that she is married to my cousin.
Wow.
You know? Small world. Yeah. That's it.
So what are you up to now?
Oh, well, I taught in New York for several years. I wish I could see some of those students now. I taught there for several years, 24 in fact, Mahalia Jackson. And then I retired and went to Florida. And when I went to Florida, would you believe I taught for another 10 years as a substitute teacher. But I've given it up now. Right now I'm really enjoying my retirement. And my work now is church. Yeah, that's about all. And being good to people, and you know, I sometimes have the opportunity of raising the great grands, Keisha's children. Yeah. But basically, now I live for Pansy.
So Moses, what are you up to?
Well, I am retired. I actually spent 37 and a half years working for a technology company in Toronto, and retired 2 years now, and just enjoying life, and you know, hope to come back to Jamaica a little bit more frequently, and you know, meet all the old people that I used to know as a kid. Yeah, so that's it.
All right.
Okay. Edit that and do what you will with it.
School bell a ring.
Ding-a-ling-ling.